felt someone rubbing me. And it wasn't like how my dad would rub me. So my dad, what he would do is the back, the whole palm would go like this. Whatever thing that was rubbing me, right, it was rubbing like this.
I really don't feel good. I'm getting a...
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. Usually when we go Genting Highlands, usually we will find like a Airbnb to stay. It's very rare that we actually stay in apartments. So my mum has an uncle that bought an apartment in Amber Court. So Amber Court, there's like a few sections. One section is apartment sections that you can buy, that you can rent. Another one would be people like hotel. It's an apartment hotel, so you can actually go there and just rent the apartment to stay. And the other side is for those like migrant workers or those people that are working in construction sites, staying there. So my uncle bought an apartment because it was like very good rate. It was very low rate, and then he thought like, why not? So he just bought it. So backstory is that he didn't tell us that the place is not clean. Not clean as in there's stuff. And also because he doesn't believe in this supernatural stuff. But okay, this is the odd part. For someone who doesn't believe in the supernatural stuff, right? Why would you have a Bible on top of your WC? There is a Bible on top of the WC. It's so odd. Okay, sorry. That was fast forward. Okay, so what happened was that when we went to Genting Highland, we tried to get a hotel. We couldn't get a hotel. So then, okay, we said, why not we try out for the Amber Court. So we had the key, then we went. When we went up there, right, I had chills. I don't know whether it's the cold weather or it's the environment. There were like buildings that was isolated. Like, not isolated, they were abandoned already. Half building, and then they just like, poof, I don't want to do this building anymore. And then, as we go up there, there was one of a very steep curve. Very, very steep. And then the barrier that holds the road, then there's like a metal barrier. The barrier broke. It broke. So it looks like maybe someone fell through there. Then we were going up. The more we go up, and when we saw the hotel, right, all the workers look at us very weirdly. They were like, what are you doing here? Because we look like a bunch of tourists coming from like KL. And then like, how do you end up here? So then, what my dad pointed out was that all the workers there, right, they look very lifeless. They look like they got no soul. Very pale, very drained. But it could be that they're working very night shift or something. We're not too sure about that, but they just don't look so okay lah. Then anyway, we go in, we park the car. The basement, I don't know what to say about the basement. The basement is so run down, it's like unwell kept. But we parked at the like one of the highest one. Then after that, we went to the apartment. Before going to the apartment, right, the area looks okay. It looks very run down, but it looks like, there's people staying, there's people selling stuff. So when we went to the apartment, okay, this is where things start to not so right. So the apartment level that we are staying, I don't really remember which level was it, but the level we were staying, right, there was no one else staying there. It's all empty. How we know that is that the grills, right, has not been touched for a very long time. The other places. The only place that had people staying was a very far end one. And that also we are not too sure. We can't really confirm. But the whole place looks like no one stays there and no one is there. And we don't hear any movement, no sound, nothing. Usually when you pass by apartment door, even if your apartment door is very well built, right, you can hear at least like some rustling, some sound. That was total silence. It's dead silence. This is very important when we stay for a night. You will know why later. Okay, so we went in. We check out the place. My dad is a very sensitive person. He was someone that actually could contact with the dead people, or they can contact him. But then my grandmother didn't want it to happen, so she blocked off the third eye so that he can't make contact and he can't like have anything with them. So the moment we entered the hotel room, right, I think this is the first time that I saw my dad actually went upset. He looked really uncomfortable. He looked like he just want to get out of here. He went in. Usually what he would do is that he went in, he would check under the beds, and under the bed he would put like a fool. So it's like a protective paper. I can show you later, I have one. So what he would do is that he would go in, And he'll put
It's a
one
yellow
under.
color talisman, right? The one like the
It's a green color one.
green color. Okay.
It's something like this lah. Yeah, but it's green. Yeah, it's green in color. Okay, so then what he does is usually he do that to like tell whatever around like don't disturb us. We are just here to stay for the night, and it's also like a protective barrier. What happened was that when he went to do that, for some reason he immediately came out of the bedroom. He just checked underneath the bed, and he just like he just came to the living room. Then he just looked at us like I think let's just go. Let's not stay here. Although he knew that we couldn't get a hotel, he still wanted to like try his luck to go and get one. He insisted on trying. Okay, but then that was his side of his story. My side of the story is that when we went in, I wasn't comfortable because I felt like maybe it could be like it's a hotel, so I'm not someone that adapts to change very fast. But I don't know, there's something about that area, especially the balcony. The balcony is like, it feels heavy. It feels like something is just not right here. Usually when I enter the hotel, it's like it's uncomfortable, like that uneasy feeling. But this place is it's not the same. It doesn't, it's not only the uneasiness, you feel very heavy, like something is just not right. Then I walked around, then I used the bathroom. Okay, this is where I felt something was really, really not right. For a religious person, right, I went into the bathroom, I see a Bible there, and I'm just like, a Bible should be anywhere else other than a place where you poop and pee. Okay, I was just like, okay, so we all felt it was odd. Okay, my dad and me, we sensed it. The others, I don't think they sensed anything lah, because they were like, why we have to leave? Why? They were just like, I'm just like, let's just go, let's go. And then I guess my mom was also not very sensitive. She's like, nothing wrong, let's stay here. Then I'm like, do you see the Bible? Do you like, oh, okay. So then, okay, we packed everything up. After everyone like resisting a bit, then we packed everything up. Then we went down, and then we tried to get a hotel. So we drove all the way back up to get a hotel. We couldn't get. It was fully booked. The only place that we could actually get a hotel is the room that's haunted. So it's either that or this. So we just decided, okay, let's just go back there. So we went back there, and because when we went up again, it was quite late already, and we had our dinner and everything. Then we came down. So by the time when we were going up, right, it is super dark already. It's like 8 or 9 p.m. already. It's very, very dark. I think this is the first time that I actually see my dad drive super slow. Doing the hill the time, right? He was so slow because I don't know, the angle there is just kind of weird. Then so we were driving up. When we reached the place, it felt even more heavier. The place, I just don't know, something about the environment. Then we went in, and then my dad is someone usually, because like last time my sisters had their boyfriends to following us. So what he will usually do is that the boyfriend sleeps in one on the sofa or a separate bed. Oddly enough, even though the bedroom has 2 rooms, 2 big queen size bed, he didn't want us to sleep inside. He said, we're not sleeping inside here. He closed the bedroom off, and he said, no one goes inside here. No one uses this room. That's very odd for us.
So there's an apartment, but there's 2 bedrooms, right?
Sorry, one big bedroom, and then there's 2 queen size bed inside it.
Okay, so it's an apartment with 1 bedroom and 2 queen size beds. So it's a huge room.
It is a huge room.
And there were how many of you guys? Your dad, your mom, you. 8 of
There was 8 of us. Yeah.
And your dad said nobody was allowed to go into that room.
Yes.
And
he didn't want us.
Anyone question him at that point in time?
There was, but I think everyone could read the face of my dad. Okay. They were just like, I don't want to question you, so I'm just gonna follow you. But there was Christian's toss lah, but my dad just said no, we are sleeping in the living room only in the living room, nowhere else. So then everyone just followed, and then by the time that we wanted to sleep, it's about like 2 a.m. already. So there's one sofa here. This sofa can change into a bed one, and then there's another sofa here and another sofa here. So one person sleep here and one person sleep here. I was sleeping here, and the bed that was comforted down, there were six people crammed into that bed. 6 of them. And then they are all just like slanting their body. And then one more person slept at the end of the bed. I don't know what he slept on. I think he slept on something, I'm not too sure, but it was just there, like that. Okay. Following this, right, when we were sleeping already, nothing much. It's just that the odd thing that we kept hearing is that we know that level there was no one staying there. Even if there was anyone, right, usually you will hear movements like maybe dinner time when people want to go out and everything, right? There was no movement. But around like 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., right, we keep hearing footsteps. People walking past. And they're like groups of people. They're not 1, 2, 3, it's groups. And one walk, then come back in. One walk, then come back in. Sometimes there are kids' footsteps. You can hear it's light. Sometimes it's heavy footsteps. It sounds like those construction workers. So at first we just brush it off. Maybe they are just like doing some work or something. But it's odd lah to be doing work at 2 a.m. But we don't want to say anything lah. Just shh. It's very traditional mindset. So okay, the odd thing was footsteps, but no one disturbed us, nothing. So we just kept quiet. Then we continued on, and then we went to sleep. Okay, when we slept, this is where things got weird. My sister and so me and my second sister, we were disturbed. While I was sleeping, right, my dad is next to me. His bottom here, he was next to me. Usually he will rub my back. So my back, this is my back, he will rub like this. Sometimes lah, okay? But it's very rare because I'm already a grown up. So it's rare that he rubs like this. So then that day when I was sleeping, so I was facing inwards to the couch. And then my back was facing outwards. I felt someone rubbing me. And it wasn't like how my dad would rub me. So my dad, what he would do is the back, the whole palm would go like this. Whatever thing that was rubbing me, right, it was rubbing like this. And it felt like two hands, just. And it was circular movement, okay? So I was like sleepy at that moment. Then I was like, why is my dad rubbing me? And then like, I turned around. And then like, oh, it's my dad. Okay, the weird thing is, if my dad were to touch me like this, right, he has to be facing me. He was facing outwards. He wasn't facing me. He was facing the other direction. I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And his hand, right, it was like on my mom. So I was thinking maybe he had me already, then he turned over. So ngam lah, okay, turn over. Then I'm like, okay, so I turned the other side lah. Now my back is facing the couch and I'm facing outwards. Okay, this is where things get creepy for me. Is that when my back was facing the couch, no one can touch me. Definitely no one can touch me. But I felt the same thing, with more hands. At this time, right, when I felt it, it was more than 2 hands. Just touching me. It's just touching me. Just keep touching me. The whole back, I can feel it. It's like, it's just a lot of hands. And then I'm just like, I woke up and I'm like, I can still feel it. So I just went back to sleep. Cause I don't want to do anything. I don't want to say anything. At that moment when I woke up, right, because I was facing out already, I could see my sister. My sister didn't look that right already. She looked like quite pale. So I went back to sleep. And then suddenly, I heard someone like talking. So it was my sister actually. She was actually grumbling, saying something is sitting on her. She felt something heavy on her, pushing her like that. It wasn't like just a sit. It was someone pushing her on her like that. On her. So she switched many sides. From her story is that she switched to the front, to the back, and it's the same thing. And it just kept pushing on her. Pushing. To the point that she felt very, very difficult to breathe. So that was when I heard the noise. Because she was trying to like struggle to breathe already. Then my dad woke up. And I woke up. I didn't do much. I just opened my eyes. And then I see my dad like rubbing my sister's here. Because you can hear she's like suffering to like, she's like that kind of like feeling. Then my dad keep rubbing.
What time was it now? Agak-agak.
I don't know the time. But agak-agak is about 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. already.
Okay.
Usually I don't wake up early lah. I always wake up very, very late, man. But that day I woke up so early, right, that my dad is the only one awake. Because I think I couldn't sleep anymore. I didn't have a good night's sleep, so I just woke up. I couldn't sleep, so I see my dad, then I'm like, okay. Then there was a balcony. So the balcony, right? I went to the balcony. In the morning when we went to the balcony, right? It was heavy, but I didn't feel like too much. So when I went to the balcony, it's about like 5 a.m. near to 6 a.m. Sun is rising already. Right? I went to the balcony, right? I just immediately had a feeling of jumping off. It was just an immediate feeling of like step on so the balcony is like a very old one. Then there's like a white thing there. So you step on it and then you push yourself, you can actually go off. It's not that high. It's not that high. So I immediately had the feeling of like I wanna jump off this thing. I felt like, okay, that's kind of weird. Then I went back in. I went back out again. I still had the same feeling. Then I was like, but I don't know why lah. I couldn't seem to walk away from the balcony. I just seemed to like, I want to stay on this balcony. There's some odd reason. So I just stood there. I stood there. And then my sister came in. When my sister came in, my third sister, she came in. Then the feeling disappeared. It just poof, like there's no more attachment to stay on the balcony already. Then so when it like that, then I just like stay for her. Then she wanted to take some pictures. So we were taking pictures lah. And then while she was taking pictures, I was looking around the surrounding. Maybe the structure is run down, but I felt like, I don't know, it feels like something is staring at us from this side, especially this side. There's like something staring at us. I just keep looking like, but it didn't feel too near. But it felt quite far, but not too far. So it just felt something was looking, and I couldn't see anything. And I'm just like, okay, like alright. And then after that, so we didn't want to stay anymore. Usually we would stay quite a bit longer, so I didn't. We just packed up our stuff and we left.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.